Okay, so this question is, I'm struggling with E&M. Is there any tips you can offer me so I will feel better about taking the exam? For this one, I can totally relate to the struggle with E&M because if you've listened to our Blitz review videos, you've probably heard me say I thought E&M was a new M&M candy when my instructor was teaching me. That's how green I was. So you can master this, trust me. So here's the tips that I helped myself. I knew I had a couple weeks before the proctor was going to come do the exam, and I needed to figure this out. I knew it was an open book exam, my CPT manual, and I looked at that instead of those coding slide rules and all these different ways to learn E&M. And what I came away with is this. If you picture your exam booklet, in the margin where that E&M question is, you want to write, think of this little saying, locate your hem in time. What that means is the locate part is where is the E&M occurring, meaning the E&M category and subcategory. So are they an office patient, new, office patient, established, right? So figure out that category, subcategory. That's one of the major things. If you can get that down, right there, you're probably going to get 75% of the E&M questions correct because you're in the right church, so to speak. You know, we talk about right church, wrong pew, or, you know, vice versa. So we want to make sure we get that location correct. And it isn't always about location. It could be about the status, but we just say it because it helps us remember, locate your hem and time. The next part of that is the hem. Those are your three key components to E&M: history, exam, and medical decision making. So read the little scenario that they give you in the exam. And normally, I would say 80% of the time, they give it to you. They tell you what the history level is. They tell you what the exam level is or what the medical decision making level is. Not always, but a majority of the time. So if you have written in your exam booklet, LOC for locate with a line, you're filling that in, okay, it's office new. Then you write HEM, each of them with a line next to it, and you're trying to fill it in. You're reading the exam question. It says the physician did a problem-focused history. Well, write problem-focused. Or if you've learned our system, we kind of distill that down to one letter, so we put a P, okay? Then do the same thing with exam, do the same thing with medical decision making. Then the last piece of that, locate your hem in time, is ask yourself, was time the dominant factor instead of the three key components? If that's the case, you need to figure out what the time is so you can code based on time. So that's a little tip that way. If you always attack every single E&M question with the same formula, locate your hem in time, and you're just trying to fill in those blanks, that should help you through the process of elimination with the multiple choice answers. You normally have 4 different E&M codes. You can probably figure it out. And by the way, when you look at those, the 4 codes, if you kind of skim them you skim them first before you even read the scenario, you could probably figure out, oh, they're trying to test me on whether or not I know this is a consult versus an office visit. So look at what the actual choices are, and that will help as you're reading the scenario to drill down on what you need to abstract. Then the other E&M tip I can give you is when it comes to leveling, you know, we have to figure out if it's 3 of 3 of those key elements or 2 of 3 of those key elements are required. And Alicia referred to that in the question that she was answering about medical decision making. So this concept of needing all 3 of like a checklist or just 2 of the 3 is very, very critical. So if they've given you what the history is, and they've given you what the exam is, and they've given you what the medical decision making is, now you got to plug it in, and we call that leveling. And when you plug in those letters or those levels, then you have to stop and say, okay, this is a 3 of 3 situation, and if that's the case, you're going to code to the lowest one because you need to meet or exceed those 3 elements. And if you do, then you're good to go with that code. If you don't, then that's not going to be one of your correct answers. Then if it's a 2 of 3 situation, you can drop one of those bullets, if you will. And as long as you're meeting or exceeding 2 of those 3, then you're good to go. So what I recommend that you do in your E&M section of your CPT manual, right next to every single code, whether or not it's a 3 of 3 or a 2 of 3. And it says it right in each description. It'll say which requires 3 of these 3 key components. So just, I handwrite it in, 3 of 3, 2 of 3, so it jumps out at you. And then there's this tool here. This is a freebie on our website you could go to. It's a step-by-step guide to understanding E&M coding. Just fill out your name and we'll send this to you. This is something I created way back in the day. E&M hasn't changed that much, so this tool is still effective at helping you learn it step by step. And then here's some information that Alicia went and grabbed out from the AAPC website. If you're taking the AAPC CPC exam, there's only 10 questions on E&M. And I say only because when I took it, I think it was like 25, maybe more. And that's how I got started in this field of teaching. Was I did tutoring. I helped people with the E&M part because people were failing just because of E&M. So we did this whole leveling thing, and we have a leveling worksheet to help people really master 2 of 3 versus 3 of 3 so they could be really quick and do it with just their manuals, not needing any slide rule tools or all that kind of stuff that's out there. But these are all the categories and subcategories of E&M that they want to make sure you understand the differences. When is it okay to use emergency department? And we go over that in our Blitz review videos for the CPC exam, and we have a little E&M course. And also, if you're a club member, we've got some great E&M trainings done by other people that are excellent, and people have credited to helping them pass the CEMC exam. And then AHEMA, the E&M falls in their Domain 5, reporting requirements for outpatient services, counts for about 6 to 10%. So if you're struggling with it, do your best with it, but don't kill yourself because it's 10 out of the 150 questions, or 6 to 10% for AHEMA. Really don't focus on the minutia, the teeny weeny details, like all those bean counting. That's great for auditing, but take a little more broader view of how E&M comes together, and that should help you with that. We have lots of resources. I will end with showing you my favorite tip for when you're searching any website. If you just open up a browser window, go to Google, if you type in what you want to look up, so I'm going to just put E&M. This one you might have to do E/M, E&M. There's different ways to write that. Or evaluation and management. So once you get your search phrase in there, type the word site, S-I-T-E, colon, and then the site you want to search. So I'm going to search cco.us. I do this all the time when I'm saying, I know we answered this, let me go find it so I can give them the link. But as you can see here, we've got 97 hits on our website, if I'm reading that correctly, where you could go see where we've talked about other E&M questions. So try that on the AAPC site, AHEMA, any site where you want to drill down and find just that particular phrase. So hopefully that will help you with that.
Do you need more medical certification and business training? Learn more at www.cco.us.